Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's episode, I will be doing my episode review and recap for episode 5 of season 5 of Falling Skies, Non-Essential Personnel. Now, before I begin, as usual, I must warn you that this episode recap will be full of big spoilers, as I will discuss in heavy detail as to what went down in this episode and what I think is to come and how it surprised me. So you have been warned. If you're not caught up on Falling Skies, don't watch or listen to this video. That being said, wow, this was intense. In fact, as far back as I can recollect, looking back throughout the series, this might have been one of the most, not the most, but one of the most intense episodes of Falling Skies I have ever watched. I mean, shit, we saw Pope torturing Hal. You know, he kidnapped Hal to draw out Tom, to have Tom come so he could kill him face to face. And kill Hal first and then kill Tom because he wants to hurt Tom the way he felt Tom hurt him when, Sarah died because of Tom's not going to rescue her right away. Instead of going on their when they went on their mission first. So of course he blames him, and it seems like at this point Pope has just completely snapped. He's gone. I mean, he's always been an asshole, and he's always been an asshole. He's always been at odds with Tom and Captain Weaver and every other character on the show. But you know what? He's just snapped. He's completely gone at this point. And the same could be said for Anthony. Something has also snapped inside of Anthony that's made him now loyal and serves under Pope. And, I think that's the PTSD that's making him do this. He's not thinking clearly either. He's not as far gone as Pope is, but Anthony's getting right up there. So the episode opens, interestingly enough, where these human survivors are holed up in this house, and they're trying to keep these skitters from breaking in, and the skitters are trying to get in so they can eat them. But the human characters wait for an opening, they escape, and as they're trying to get away, they're surrounded by skitters, but then Pope and Anthony show up and blow all the skitters to hell. They just go... and it's a nice little rescue scene. And then Pope and Anthony bring the people back to the place they're holed up in. It's a bowling alley, and it's appropriately named Lois Lanes. I noticed that. That was pretty cute. I liked the Superman Easter egg there, the Lois Lane Easter egg. That was pretty funny. I liked that, and basically Pope addresses these people saying, if you've got value, if you can serve us or serve me, you can stay. If not, bye-bye. No room for non-essential personnel, which is what the title of this episode is, and that's what it refers to when Pope refers to these people as non-essential personnel, meaning they have nothing to contribute. So he chooses most of the people. Actually, it's Anthony who does the choosing because Pope asked him to select people who could contribute to their survivor group. And Anthony chooses basically almost everybody except 3 people. This girl, her father, the old man, and then this one guy whom this main woman, this nurse, was traveling with. So all 3 of them are kicked out. And Pope and Tom are talking to each other over the radios, and Pope's taunting Pope and Tom, not Hal. Pope's taunting Tom. Oh, I think I left his body in the dumpster. Oh, wait, it's not there. I'm trying to remember where it was. He's just being a complete dick. He's just being a really, really awful, nasty person to Tom. And, when Tom realizes that Hal is still alive because Pope kind of lets it slip, he's like, it's not too late. If you let Hal go, we'll both go our separate ways. No more fighting. But Pope won't have it because he is so determined to get revenge on Mason because he lost Sarah. And I can certainly understand why, but at the same time, it wasn't directly Tom's fault. He just made a choice not to rescue her first, then carry out the mission. What he did was carry out the mission first and then rescue her, but of course it was too late. She was dead. And that's what made Pope go... it's what made him go snap inside. So, they're taunting with each other over radio wavelengths. Meanwhile, the second mass is en route to D.C., and Weaver and Cochise have kind of a funny moment as they're driving in that sweet, nice car that Weaver found a couple episodes back. Cochise is telling him how loud it is and it could attract attention, unwanted attention. But then, Weaver's like, could you shut up and let me enjoy this? This engine is purring like a kitten. And then he's like, could you knock it off with the backseat driving? But Cochise, of course, having no idea what that means, looks in the backseat. He's like, but I'm in the front. I thought that was really funny. I love Cochise. He is awesome. But then all of a sudden, they're under attack. Somebody blows out the road in front of them and behind them, trapping the second mass. And the second mass is not as big as I thought it was. I thought it was actually a bit bigger than I remembered. But then again, because Pope and Anthony took so many guys with them, it left the second mass depleted in numbers. And they're under attack by this unseen gunman who's shooting at them. Nobody's dead or killed yet, but this gunman's like, and he wants he wants one of their cars and all of their weapons and ammo because he wants to protect his family. Weaver goes in unarmed to negotiate with the guy, but the guy shoots him in the arm. Anne goes in to make sure Weaver is alive because they won't do a trade unless they confirm Weaver's alive. She goes in, he's alive. The gunman, who looks batshit crazy, is pointing his gun at her. And when he reveals that he has a wife and 2 daughters, the look in his eye and just the way he looks overall, I immediately suspected, as they confirmed towards the end of the episode, that his family is really dead. That they've been dead for a while, and he thinks he's protecting them by taking... Sorry. Are you done? Windows open, there's a truck going down, so it sounds like a freaking semi. Anyway, and I immediately suspected that when I saw him. I looked at him like, you know what, this guy's family's probably dead, and he's just batshit crazy, like everybody else in this episode. But, fortunately, they're able to talk him out, and I really enjoyed how Weaver connected with him man to man, because Weaver recognized a piece of himself when he looked at this guy. He saw his own reflection, and that's how he figured it out that his family was dead, because Weaver's like, I had a feeling they were dead the second I looked at him, and when he said he had a family, it was the same look I had on my face when I lost Jeannie, and he's telling this to Anne, he's like, or when you lost Lexi. He recognized the loss that a parent goes through when they lose their child. And fortunately, things work out. They actually end up bringing this guy along with them. His name's Marty, and he seems to have calmed down quite a bit, kind of stepped back into reality thanks to Weaver. And now they're back en route into DC. And meanwhile, Tom has, gone up to the bowling alley. He's doing some reconnaissance work, scouting around, and he finds this place thanks to the 3 people that he bumps into while he's en route there. Earlier in the episode, he bumps into the 3 rejects that Pope kicked out, the man, and then the little girl and her father, and they, Tom gets confirmation from them. It was it was Pope and Anthony who kicked him out, and they tell him where they're at. They tell Tom where everybody's at. So they get there, and Hal is trying to convince this woman, this nurse, to let him go, and that Pope's crazy, and that she can come back with him to the second mass. The second mass are good people, but she won't hear him out. She's like, and this is the same thing she kind of said to Pope. She's like, nowadays, when people do a favor for somebody, they expect a favor in return. That's how the world works. That's how it's always worked. That's how it operates. And Pope actually agrees with her, and she tries to use that same sentiment on Hal, but it doesn't quite work out. But it turns out she had actually had the keys all along, because she took him off of Pope, the keys to Hal's handcuffs, which he's cuffed to this table in the back room of the bowling alley. And as Tom is sleuthing around, looking for Hal, sure enough, boop, there's Pope, and then it looks like Pope's reaching for his pistol, but Tom shoots him right in the chest, like a clean chest shot. I was like, damn! Wow. Because I thought to myself, wow, I was right. I said that Tom was going to kill Pope. I thought he would, and sure enough, he did. I'm like, wow, that wasn't much of a death. But I should have known better, because Pope's been a main character since season 1, and there's no way they would kill him off that quick and not have it be dramatic. So what I'm guessing is and then of course the episode returns from commercial, and boom, turns out Tom just nicked him in the cheek. Like, he now has a big gash in his cheek right here. Like, it's ripped, like his cheek is like halfway ripped open. That's where he was shot. And then Pope shoots Tom in the leg, and they basically get in a gunfight with each other. And then Pope's men join in the fight, but then Hal and the nurse have escaped by now. They're at a truck and they're shooting. They're about to escape when Hal notices his dad is pinned down by Pope. And as they're yelling to Tom, before Pope can get a shot off to kill Tom, the Black Hornet shows up, which had been terrorizing the group earlier. And it actually injured one of Pope's men, and he only suffered a broken ankle. But Pope, without hesitation, shot him clean right in the chest, saying, he was no longer fit for duty, or he was a non-essential. So the fact that Pope killed somebody that fast without hesitation shows how far gone he really is. And I hate to say it, because he's one of my favorite characters. I think we're going to lose Pope before the end of this season, if not during the series finale. That's just how I see it. Unless he comes up with some unforgettable, awesome, awe-inspiring act of redemption that saves Tom and the Second Mass and many of other people, or he somehow sacrifices himself during the final battle with the Ishveni or something like that, I don't see how Pope can come back from any of this. And then Tom's picked off and taken away by the Black Hornet, while Hal and the nurse escape in the car, presumably try to track Tom, who's disappeared into the night sky. And Pope's left dumbfounded with, like, what the hell just happened? Like, damn it, I didn't get a chance to kill Tom. And we cut back to the Second Mass. They had left all of their guns and ammunition left for this gunman until Weaver was able to talk him out of it and eventually get the drop on him. And then thanks to Ben and Maggie, they were able to back him up too. But then, of course, it's revealed that the guy's family was in the back room and they were dead in body bags all along. And you really feel for the guy too, because like Pope, he's completely snapped and he's just lost from reality. In a sense, this guy isn't a murderer like Pope is. He's just a grieving, mourning father and husband. But, Weaver convinces the Second Mass to bring him along to D.C., plus the man knows how to handle a rifle, and they need all the bodies they can get, which is the argument Weaver makes to Marty, the gunman. It's like, we need all the bodies we can get for this battle. There's going to be a big battle coming up, and we need all hands on deck. So overall, great episode, very, very intense, lots of shouting, lots of anger, resentment. Earlier in the episode, Pope is trying to get Hal through intimidation and a lack of water to get him to yell out and admit that his father has gotten everybody killed since the beginning of this war, since the beginning of the series practically. But Hal won't do it. Hal is a strong-willed guy, and and then Pope does cut him up. Like, what's interesting is that he holds his walkie-talkie up to Hal as he puts him in a headlock. And, he cuts with his Bowie knife, cuts Hal's arm, which causes him to scream in pain, of course, as anyone would. And poor Tom is listening on the other end, thinking and visualizing Pope torturing his son, because that's exactly what Pope wants to do to Tom, is torture him, because of, he resents him and blames him for Sarah's death. But what's interesting about Pope is that he almost immediately after he gets done talking to Tom on the walkie-talkie, looks at the nurse and says, do what you can to bandage him up. We don't want him bleeding out. And he says it with a tone of humanity and decency in his voice, as if he never intended to really hurt Hal that badly. And if he wanted to, if you think about it, if he wanted to, he could have hurt Hal and done a lot worse to him, but he didn't. All he did was cut his arm really fast, and that was it. So there might be a shred of humanity left in Pope, and hopefully it can be reignited to bring him back from this dark road and bring him back into the light and finally make peace with the Second Mass, or especially Tom. But maybe not. Maybe they won't have him come back. Maybe he'll be our villain for the rest of the season. It's hard to say. Well, guys, thank you for watching and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Falling Skies as much as I did. I'm really excited about this season, mostly because we'll finally get to see how it all And as sad as I am to see this show go, I think it's had a good run, and I'm just really excited to see how it'll finally end for every single character, good or bad, alien or not, human, alien, whatever. So thanks for watching and tuning into this review. Please subscribe and like and comment on this video. What were your favorite parts of this episode? What did you think? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's be respectful of one another's opinions, of course. And stay tuned for more upcoming content from me, as I will be doing an episode recap and review for the newest episode of The Strain. So watch out for that. All right, guys, thanks again for tuning in and watching. And, of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.